It's not even my favorite Jackie Chan movie. I was entertained by this movie.
I didn't hate this movie. I just think that it's not a good movie.
Welcome to Kyle and Dave vs. the Machine. This week we are talking in depth about Dragon Lord, the third film Jackie Chan directed himself. I'm going to preface everything that you get a good chunk of conversation that is Dave and I fighting over how to rate films.
That's what our podcast is about.
Basically, we stay in this abstract level and then finally get down to talking about the movie.
Only
Dave,
reason why I like doing this.
tell me about Dragon Lord.
I grew up watching a lot of Jackie Chan, and I think there's a reason why I've never heard of this movie before. It has those classic sequences of choreography and humor that make us love Jackie Chan, but it's like 10 minutes of a 90-minute runtime, and the rest of it is just fucking vomit. It's likely a Jackie Chan historian would like to attribute this movie within the sequence of Jackie Chan's directorial evolution.
Sure.
And you can definitely see how he will take the successful pieces of this film and utilize it to far greater effect in the future. But ultimately, I would not tell people to watch this because there are way better Jackie Chans to introduce yourself to. Why is it called Dragon Lord?
We can't. We literally cannot because that
Why
causes us
is
to go
it
into a
called Dragon
tailspin.
Lord? No, it's fine.
Whatever.
Just
Who
ignore
cares?
the question. It's
Who
an
cares?
important one.
It's not. I have to be very honest. Dave and I are coming at this from very different angles, only because Dave has a very deep knowledge of kung fu movies, of the whole history of Jackie Chan, which I just don't. I've seen a handful of Jackie Chan movies, a few more kung fu movies with Bruce Lee. So as I was coming into this movie, I was like, well, I kind of just hope I get some good choreography, fight scenes, and we'll call it a day. Ultimately, I was entertained by this movie while still admitting the plot, which there really isn't a plot at all, is bad. It's all slapdash together and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. However, there are 3 scenes that I loved, that I was gripped. There is this really wild soccer / hacky sack game sport that they play that had to have thousands of different takes to cobble it together. It all feels seamless and it was so cool. I wanted to watch an entire game of it. You see Jackie Chan's great ability at comedy and direction, and he was so influenced by Buster Keaton in this sequence where all these spears are coming through the roof and he's trying to avoid them. And I think that the final boss battle is phenomenal in the way it's choreographed, realized, and shot. If you need more than 3 great scenes in your movie, then this is not the movie for you. But for me, it's honestly, I got my admission for this. I can't hate on this movie. It's not even my favorite Jackie Chan movie. Definitely would not be up on my top list of best kung fu movies, but overall, pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Look, this shouldn't be called Dragon Lord.
Okay, stop it. We can't.
Number 2, all of those things that make Jackie Chan are in this movie. I didn't hate this movie. I just think that it's not a good movie, Kyle.
Even I will admit, the first 10, maybe up to even 15 minutes,
40
it's
minutes.
rough because it's bouncing all over the place. And it's what is happening? How are any of these scenes related to each other? So that's why they don't feel like they belong to each other. But like I said, I just cannot overstate how much I loved those 3 scenes. The success of this movie, we'll be watching clips of it on YouTube. And that's why it gets my stamp of approval.
Yikes. They do some of the classic tropes for the comedy. The girl and the guys chasing it and getting horny and fighting each other, peeing on each other. Those have become what we consider more lowbrow and antiquated things, but that's all in there, and Jackie Chan used to be very good at that. It is dated. If you want him when he's first starting out, there's better films like The Fearless Hyena. If you want him more developed, Drunken Master 2 is probably his penultimate work. Some of them are available in streaming. Police Story is on Criterion. I'm beginning to question whether we watched a theatrical version of this film, because some of the reviews we've read change the sequence, because there is the boss scene, which is a classic Jackie Chan fight, beautifully choreographed. The bad guy's Korean Hapkido master, which I didn't even recognize him, so they pulled him out of retirement to do this film. After that's done, there's a 10-minute township
football
rugby match.
It should not be after that boss fight.
Should not be in the film. I was guessing when we were watching it that was supposed to be in the middle. Some of the reviewers were talking about how they saw it at the beginning of the film, which makes more sense.
You know what would have made this film better?
Don't say white people.
Billy Jack. So kind of. Although he has native blood, isn't that what he says in his movie?
He does
Doesn't
say
matter.
that.
He knows Hapkido.
Billy Jack met Jackie Chan, and you go cyberpunk, and then Arnold walks in. Why are we not rich? We can make Hollywood bangers. That's a good one.
This is not the best example of kung fu movie.
No.
I just happened to be entertained by a lot of it,
Doesn't take a
where
lot.
Dave was not.
What are we watching next?
Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. a Steve Martin vehicle. Leave comments here, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. We're almost at 100 subscribers, so...
The point of no return. The uncanny valley.
And then we can actually give a unique URL.
What will we pick? Dragon Lord.
Go to youtube.com/dragonlord for Kyle and Dave versus the Machine. It's perfect SEO.
And we're practicing. Hi, Father. Well, carry on. Right, well, that's it. What?